From classrooms to careers, bright futures are near as K-12 and beyond, empowering educators right here. Tune into AUK 98.7 where excellence begins.
Hello and welcome to the podcast number 3, K-12 and beyond education, teaching and learning. And today, for this episode, we have very special guests, and I will let them introduce themselves. Let's start from Yelena.
Hello, nice to be here. So I'm Yelena, I'm the Director of Student Affairs. I'm a psychologist and public health specialist, and I've been working in the field of education for the past 10 years.
Thank you.
Hello, thanks for inviting us. I'm Karmand from Soran University. I'm the Dean of the Faculty of Arts, and I also teach at several pedagogical training centers here in Kurdistan.
It's wonderful to have you both. Dr. Sheraz.
Hello, and again, thank you for the invite. I'm Sheraz. I'm from the British International University. I'm the head of School of Humanities and Social Sciences, and I have had the privilege to serve in the reform project of pedagogical training in higher education in Kurdistan for the past 6 years.
Thank you. This is a privilege to have you here today. And let's talk about education and what has transpired during your workshops. You have now completed your workshops, correct? Yeah. And you have discovered some things when delivering the workshops and talking to the participants. What was that caught your eye, that you were nicely surprised? And what was that you thought, I need to think about this further? Who wants to go?
I can do it.
Okay.
So my session was about how to identify and support students in distress. And what really touched me, because when the participants came into the room, I asked them, why are you in this session? Because there are so many other interesting sessions, you could be somewhere else. I was really pleasantly surprised that they think that mental health and student well-being is a priority and that it was never included in their curriculum. So they are here to learn how to support their students. And what I think I should have done more for the next time is to spend more time on the tactics, how to work with the parents and the administration to support the students in distress.
Wonderful. We will note that too for our next year conference.
Yes.
Dr. Karmand?
Well, it is interesting sometimes to find out that you teach the same topic to different groups, but the results are quite different. That's perhaps because there are different participants in these sessions, and each one of them is coming with a different intention. So I had 2 sessions today, but my second session was more interesting to me and more satisfactory. This tells me that you have to carefully choose the topics that you want to present in these conferences. We have been encouraged to choose topics that are practically more relevant to our teachers so that they can apply the things that they learn in these sessions in their classrooms.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Dr.
All right,
Sheraz.
so it's just to follow on what my colleagues said there. I talked about effective assessment or using assessment to have impact on teaching, learning, and of course student engagement as well. And this happens every time we have a particular workshop that unfortunately participants or teachers or even at university level, we have the wrong perspective of assessment, or maybe we assess for something other than that we intend to measure. So again, today, on the positive note, I was very glad that quite many of them were interested to find out why they should assess. What's the reason of assessment? Because it's not just grading and scoring, it's other than that. And at the same time, there are gaps that we need to work on to improve formative non-graded assessment. So if I asked the teachers, would you assess without grading? They would absolutely love it, but we need that shift in the education sector, that they allow something called non-grading assessment for the purpose of learning, which is always, again, every workshop we have based on the audience, it has different perspective, and it's lovely to see how many teachers are passionate and interested in discovering that.
Indeed, because what we're doing is not so easy, is it? If it was
Yeah.
easy, then
Absolutely.
it would have been done.
Yes.
However, and now what you said and what Dr. Karmand, and kind of amalgamating all your sayings into this stew that we are cooking now, let's look at it, that what is missing, right? And if we were to start anew, let's say for next year, for example, if you were to come back, what is it that you would have liked to see happening, and or you would be teaching or sharing? Let's start from there, and then I have further follow-up questions on that. Is it clear, the
Yeah,
question?
we
Yeah.
can go this
Yeah.
way.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the question was what I'd like to teach next time
Next
I come.
time, yeah. Since now that you see.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, as I said, I'd like to come up with more practical ways of how to connect with the community services, with the families and the administration. And also I'd like to see more administrators in the group, because the change, the cultural change, the mindset change we are aiming for requires not only teachers but also administrators full support and commitment, because they are the ones who will give the green light. Of course, the change can come also from the teachers, but in order to be time effective and really intervene in the best way possible, we need the whole spectrum of the stakeholders included.
And there I want, since we are talking about Kurdistan in this context, and a subject that is quite sticky, mental health, we oftentimes don't look at it. We don't even think that it comes into equation, and maybe that's the reason when students cannot achieve. I want to kind of ask you, is that something we should focus on? And plus, maybe what else from your perspective next year?
Well, I believe that there are important things that have not been addressed in these conferences. It's true that the practical tools are important for teachers, but there are also elements, psychological elements, emotional elements that should be addressed. For example, the idea of emotional intelligence is very important these days, and it's getting a lot of attention in the literature. So I think these are areas that perhaps in the coming conferences we need to look into more deeply.
Mm-hmm. And in the context of Kurdistan, what else do you think we should? That's globally, I think it's a movement. Yeah.
My view is that we should work on changing people's perceptions, understandings about education in general. I think this is very much missing in our educational institutions, schools, universities, you name it. So people need to reach this understanding that education is the answer to many of the issues that we have in our society. We should somehow leave the traditional understanding about education, that it's about transferring knowledge, giving content to students. No, education is much bigger than that.
Correct. I can't agree more. Let's go to Dr. Sheraz.
Excellent question. Just to focus on how we can progress what we have done today for next year. I think mental health or student well-being is part of everything. Everything that's from prior learning all the way to graduation. It has a huge impact on that. Even assessment. Sometimes we neglect to analyze the results progress, of how well students are doing. And one major factor is well-being, student well-being, and sometimes that it is okay not to do well, but we can motivate you and encourage you to do better at something else. That's why we prefer multiple methods of teaching, multiple methods of assessment, so that we're not just applying one size to fit everybody. We are inclusivity. We are including everybody in this process. And I think one thing that goes in line with UN's sustainable goal is that every teacher by 2050 must have a degree in psychology before they can even start teaching. And I think that's something that we should definitely focus on next year, but more on the educational side of the sector. But what I mean by the educational side, I mean targeting primary and secondary school educators. Very, very important. And to have, again, decision makers and leadership on the table to understand that when we say that this is what you should apply, they should not be restricted to not applying it when it comes to application of it as well. So maybe we could focus on that.
Yeah, and now kind of building on that, where do you think we are at this point in time in terms of sets of tools to enable for that type of multi-level, multi-dimensional assessment to happen?
Yes.
Where are the schools, the primary, secondary schools? Do they have the resources?
I cannot say the same thing for all the schools in Kurdistan at the moment. Public schools have different infrastructure to some private schools, and the same thing at higher educational level as well. I can definitely say that some of our teachers are very well trained and know how to deliver that, but the infrastructure might not help. However, I just focus on using digital tools just to ensure that we are innovative through digital tools as well. And that, again, requires a lot of enhancing, a lot of improving, a lot of training. It just doesn't stop there. I mean, you use, for example, let's take Padlet as a platform. You use that for one particular tool. Now it's expanded to 25 other multiple tools. So teachers require constant change and constant updates. I don't think we are at a stage where we can say it's satisfactory, unfortunately, but we can definitely work on improving that, and we do need a lot of training, and it will take time. It will take time, but as long as we're working towards that, we will make it.
Right. Definitely it will take time. That's why today when Dr. Zana said that, let's start today, I told him it kind of resonates what Kennedy said one time. We want to go to the moon, not because it's easy, because it's hard. And maybe we won't get there at the lifetime that we have left, but we shall begin today.
Sure.
So this is a good day, right, to begin that. Now with that, I want to come back to you, Yelena. For example, if you were to focus on one aspect of unleashing potential of the potential of the teachers and the students, what would that be? Now, knowing in the context, you have been working here and you understand the issue.
Actually, that question relates to the previous one, what I would like to bring for the next conference. And today I observed that somehow being a teacher is kind of a lonely role, because there is so much on the teacher's plate. But when we look at it, we need to look also at the needs of the teachers. Statistically, over 70% of the teachers are dealing with burnout. So this is very important to take into consideration what are the needs of the teachers, because they are the true advocates for mental health promotion among the students on the community level as well. So we need to create safe space for the teachers as well to be in line with what they want to do with the resources that they have. So that would be my approach, probably humble one.
All
but
right.
that would be the starting point.
That's a good one. What about you, Dr. Karmand? You were talking about, before you answer that, because I really want to touch base before we end this, the fixed mindsets and growth mindsets. And what can we do that people actually unlock their minds and to truly open it and look at life. I used to have And I think Yelena knows, Dr. Armenian used to say, our mind is like a parachute. If it's not open, it won't work. So from that notion, what can we do?
Well, I was also mentioning that in the session, that changing people's mindset, their worldviews is not an easy job to do. It needs a lot of work. But I think institutions should give their teaching staff especially the chance to different training courses, both locally and internationally, that would help people perhaps reconsider their perceptions, their understandings to the world. I think one of the biggest problems that we have in this country in relation to the education sector is that for a long time, perhaps for many people, it was too easy to be a teacher in a certain school and university. However, being a teacher actually requires certain qualities that we may not have. My greatest thing for someone to be an effective teacher, a teacher that can change people's lives, is to have this deep love and passion for the profession. I think this is something that we need to pay more attention to here in Kurdistan.
I can't agree more on that. And we have to appreciate teachers. It's
Of
like
course,
the both
of
ends,
course.
right? Your commitment, but also appreciation.
Yes, they are struggling now because of the delay in the salary, so
Exactly.
perhaps most of them are working as volunteers now.
So perhaps sometimes they have the passion,
Yes.
but we fail to appreciate,
Absolutely,
and then that
absolutely.
burns out and
But
goes.
it is the task of education to change this status quo, this reality that does not serve the public interest.
I agree. Dr. Sheraz?
Just to add on to what has already been said, it's very important that we normalize what Dr. Karmand was just saying, that constant professional development is required, it's needed. Yes, I might have just graduated from a particular course and I can be a great teacher, but that does not mean that in 5 years I will still be a great teacher. I need constant updates, constant innovative ways to keep me updated, really. And I think the students deserve that, the teachers deserve that. We need to normalize this, we need to motivate this, encourage this. We shouldn't just focus on, yes, it's important to focus on the material side of things, but also to make that part of the teaching. And going back to that, again, concept that for you to become a teacher, I recently applied for a course, a postgraduate teaching course. I had to submit a personal statement of 1,000 words, literally telling them, I really want to do this, I really want to do this, I have to do this, I have to improve myself. And we should really bring that status back to teaching. And it is a very privileged profession, and it's an art that you have to really serve the community and the students. And let's not forget that every student can learn. It can be challenging, but they can all learn. It's just about providing the right skills, the right environment for us to enable that in the classroom. And the teachers can actually achieve this as well. But if you have the right mindset and right passion, it makes it easier to achieve that.
The right attitude,
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
So now the last question is that if you were to give one piece of advice to the teachers, something that would truly make an impact for them and for those that they serve, what would that be?
Always look beyond the surface. There is more that we don't see, but if we pay closer look, we'll discover many treasures.
Thank you.
Yes, I always say every student has its unique story, and they come in to the classroom or to the lecture hall with different backgrounds. It's very important that we don't apply the same standardized methods of teaching, learning, assessment to all of them. Let's encourage personalized learning, and let's allow more learning opportunities at different levels.
Thank you.
Well, perhaps it's very similar to what my colleague has just said. Come out of the comfort zone. Try new tools of teaching, of assessment. There is so much out there for us to utilize in the classroom. And also look at your profession, not as a technician, no, but as someone that has moral responsibility on your shoulders, that you can have an impact in the life of people and society in general.
Thank you so much. So our listeners and viewers, bear that as an earring, right? So look beyond the surface, that there is more to it, and personalize learning, and don't look at your profession as a technician. After all, when I was saying we are creating magic, right? That magic has to prevail, and it gets going with your energy and with these events. And with that, I will wrap it up. Thank you, and see you next time.
You've been listening to K-12 and Beyond, where teaching meets tomorrow. Keep aiming for excellence only on AUK 98.7.